Party 1 argued to continue the emissions trading scheme with some proposed changes and improvements, because the current one New Zealand has needs a significant revamp to be effective. I especially like the limiting of international carbon credits entering the New Zealand emissions trading scheme.
Whenever we look at all four of the policies, the only one that really looks at investment in infrastructure for the future is Party 2. And I really believe that we need to create sustainable, resilient infrastructure for the future.
I like the idea of having a tax on carbon credits, because it's giving a bit more initiative to people to actually want to reduce it.
Party 2 and Party 3 definitely heavily promote the idea of an independent climate commission. I like this idea, and I think it's sort of analogous to, say, the introduction of the Reserve Bank in the 1980s, because it depoliticizes the climate debate.
Both Party 1 and 2 specifically talk about cutting emissions to the 30% level with respect to 2005. And I think it really is important that we set concrete thresholds versus saying, oh, we'd like to improve, we'd like to implement more of this.
Parties 3 and 4 both have gaps here when they're talking about actual goals of, to achieve in terms of reducing emissions. They're just talking about reducing or improving, and it's quite pie in the sky. Party 4 even just straight up says that they're going to oppose the emissions trading scheme, but doesn't really propose an alternative to that.
Bringing agriculture into whatever scheme is implemented to reduce carbon emissions is obviously a no-brainer. Party 3 explicitly says bring all sectors into the emissions trading scheme.
There's one thing that's missing from all of these policies, from all the parties, that I'd really like to mention, is about climate adaptation. And so this is an area about adapting to the climate change that is inevitable. Climate is changing, and so we need to change how we do things.
Only Party 4 mentions net metering, and I guess the intention behind the policy is to encourage small-scale power generation in people's homes or businesses, which is admirable and I agree should be encouraged. However, the idea of net metering discounts the cost of infrastructure in the national grid that is inbuilt into everyone's regular power bill.
Party 1 talks about investing $20 million each year in funding of agricultural emissions research, greenhouse gas research. I think this policy is quite narrow-minded, as it focuses just on the agricultural. Party 2's policy, they talk about boosting investment in green tech. I quite like this policy because it's leaving it quite open for any sort of green technology. I think the party that I would most be likely to follow or to agree with or to vote for would be Party 2.
Ultimately, I think I'd vote for Party 1, but I would like to hear more from Party 3.
I think Party 2 would be who I would vote for.